We're out here doing a torture test of our DD-M4 carbine.
Torture testing an M4 carbine typically includes firing a lot of rounds through a weapon to test the functionality. But also it can include real-world scenarios that weapon could encounter in the heat of battle.
These guns, when actually on a two-way range, are going to go through pretty much hell. And we want to see how much hell we can put this through so we know that we're getting the guys what they need and they know that they can rely on it.
Some of those scenarios that can be encountered can be explosives. It could be obviously dropped, run over by a vehicle. There's just so many scenarios that could play out in the real world.
Just kind of simulating what our soldiers are having to go through every day.
All right, time to dig, baby.
The dirt test, pretty straightforward, buried in dirt, try to get as much debris into the gun and the action as possible.
Sand and dirt is very abrasive by nature, sand especially. It gets down in all the small cracks and crevices of the firearm and can definitely affect functionality if the weapon isn't built correctly.
There you go, baby. Now we're gonna take a lunch break. If you can find this location and get it out of there, you can get a free DD-M4 carbine by the time we come back. All right, back from lunch. Doesn't look like anybody got a free M4 here. Let's see if it's still in there. Aha, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna take it, rack around in the chamber, put a few rounds into the berm for function fire, and then go over the hood of the Jeep and put some rounds on that steel. Let's see how it goes. All right, good to go there. Good to go, baby. Now it's time for the water test. Okay, now it's water test time. Now, the gun's lubed and prepped as it was for the dirt test. Now, the one thing I gotta do is tie my rope to the buttstock so I'm gonna be able to retrieve it out of the drink. All right, time to take it out of the drink. Now, in theory, there's no water in this bore or the gas tube because the muzzle's taped and the bolt's forward on a closed chamber. However, I certainly would not risk that because the reality of it is, if water gets in that bore or in the gas tube, this gun is gonna detonate. It's extremely unsafe. Do not do it at home, and I'm not gonna do it. So therefore, I rack it to the rear, pause, and now I'm ready to go hot. Overall, it passed this with flying colors as we expected. Now, we're done with the kitty torture test, all right? It's time to kick it up a notch as we promised. Stand by because the next part is definitely gonna blow you away. What do you think? Is the M4 ready for this?
I was expecting the magazine to fail. It was an aluminum magazine. It took a really hard hit.
You know, after seeing the high speed impact of that birdshot on the weapon, not walking up to it yet, I was definitely expecting to see more damage.
First thing I noticed, the dust cover got kicked open. Overall, the gun looks like it's in pretty good shape. I'm gonna rack it, put some rounds into the berm, and then I'm gonna engage the steel. So let's see how it goes. Now going hot on the steel, guys.
It all came through with flying colors, everything was good, and it stayed on 0, which was pretty impressive.
There it is. What can I say? I actually predicted the magazine was gonna die, but it came through it with flying colors. The gun did a great job. If you dug that, stand by because we're gonna kick it up a notch yet again.
The road test is a good way to test a carbine. That's something that's definitely experienced in a real world scenario. Overseas especially, guys are riding around Humvees with the doors off, and it's very common for a firearm to fall out and be run over.
All right, let's check her out. Overall looks pretty good. A little bit of dirt here in the charging handle. What can I say, baby? Now it's time to take it up to the gravel road. We're gonna kick it up another notch.
I thought for sure that the gun was going to be done after that, especially when we ran over it on gravel.
Gravel is a much harsher environment to the weapon than the dirt might be.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, you know, it landed right on top of the aim point and then a Jeep came right behind it and smashed it.
The noise that Larry and I heard sounded like it just completely crumpled with it going against the gravel. We thought that this could have been bad.
Oh man, the micro took a hit. Still on. Looks like when the mag release was down on the ground, it popped the mag out, but I seated it, chambered around. Now we're gonna go hot. Dude, I am impressed. It still retains 0. You know, it's not showroom new, but it's ready to roll, and you saw my shots were on target. Pretty impressive, dude.
I can't believe the aim point. To see it sustain the amount of damage it has sustained and still run and still be zeroed is amazing.
Now I promise you, we're gonna take it up another notch. If you like explosions, stand by, because we got something for you.
Yeah, the blast test was definitely taking it to another level as far as testing out the durability of the rifle.
We used 25 pounds of a product called Southern Thunder.
This explosive is a lot bigger than some of the other more common explosives on the market that civilians can purchase.
We slung the rifle on a steel target about 5 feet away from the actual blast.
I thought, you know, the gun would go flying off into the woods somewhere.
Frankly, the explosion was much bigger than any of us had previously anticipated.
Going hot!
The size of the explosion was amazing. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, to be 100 yards away and to feel the concussion in my chest, it was just amazing.
And when we walked up on the rifle, it looked pretty bad as far as the condition of the rifle.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the lens just smashed on that aim point, I thought it was toast. I never thought we'd be able to use it.
If you look through, now I'll be honest with you, I'm not looking through the lens, I'm looking through the hole now that's created in the rear lens, and I can still see the front dot. Wow. Even though the micro rear lens is broke, I might actually be able to use the red dot to hit the steel. We'll see. I'm going hot. Unbelievable. Can you believe that?
We were all just blown away.
Pretty impressive. And you saw we got hits on the 50-yard steel after the explosion. Pretty cool.
The first drop test from 6 feet, I think that's going to be good to go.
The weapon is designed, obviously, to handle so much more than a simple drop.
Here we go. Okay, mag seated, chambers around, red dot still on, going hot. Still on the steel, a little bit up to the upper right. What can I say? The gun still goes bang and hits the steel at 50 yards.
I'm a little concerned about the 30-foot drop test. That's a pretty far fall.
Bombs away. Still see the aim point. Chamber around. Everything's looking good so far. It's time to go over here and test fire. Go hot. Say. I mean, I don't know what to say. The gun it far exceeded what I expected it to do. We have a grand finale, though, that you are not going to want to miss, I promise you. Drop test part 3, and this will seal the deal.
I got to tell you, I think the helicopter drop is going to be the ultimate test.
We've really run this gun hard. We've put it through a lot of tests, and it's already been beaten up a lot. So for it to be dropped out of a helicopter and impact the ground at the rate of speed that it's going to be going, it may very well fail.
I'm not too sure of what to expect, but obviously I believe in our product and I'm hoping that it's going to come out well.
I think the gun's going to be shot. It's going to be finished. It's going to be in pieces.
If it does fail, that's just fine. We've run this gun hard and it deserves to go out with a bang.
luck.
Seeing that gun fall out of the helicopter, I was just stunned. It hit the ground and we're all expecting to see this gun in pieces.
Okay, we got some pretty good dirt kicked up that time. Let me check it out. Aim point, believe it or not, is still on. Magazine's still looking good. Okay, zero's definitely off. The aim point is still on. It is still functioning. Even though the rear lens is cracked, you can still see the red dot, but it has lost zero. So it would need to be re-zeroed. The gun is functioning.
Damn.
I'm absolutely amazed that it was able to go through everything that you guys have put it through over the last couple of days and then be thrown out of a helicopter from 100 feet and still run. I think that says everything about Daniel Defense and why it's so important to take that extra step in our manufacturing process.
Shows what our guns are made of.
Extremely impressed at how well this gun has held up. If you have any doubts about the M4 carbine or Daniel Defense or Aimpoint products, you need to put them to rest. Top notch, as good as anybody in the world.